Hey, I want to share today with you guys how if you were just starting out, like the first 3 weeks of your fat loss and muscle gaining program to like jumpstart you into something that you can sustain long term and literally be lean forever and have a muscular build. The goal here is to be muscular and lean and to have like a nice V taper and just to look aesthetic and sexy. You might not believe that's possible. I certainly wasn't sure for myself, but I found the teachings of the late bodybuilder Mike Mentzer and said, well, he tells me to do one day a week of working out, so I'm gonna at least do that. And if it doesn't work, well, whatever. And and basically I want to share with you why it's important to kind of get a little idea and a foundation that is going to help you for the long term. Okay. So the first thing I want to tell you is that some things that I'm going to say are a little counterintuitive, especially in the beginning. And part of this goes to it's important to be coachable and teachable, because a lot of times like we may think we know how we're going to get to a certain place and maybe even have experience doing it, but it may not have been the best way. So like, for example, when I discovered Mike Mentzer and some of the teachings about how some of the things that I'm going to share to you today, I was drunk. So I thought that there's no way that I'm going to get fit. But he told me, hey, you can do this one day a week. And I said, well, okay, I can do one day a week. I have no excuse. So that's how I started my journey. So I just understood what he was saying. I took it to heart. I just worked at it and realized that it would be a long process. Okay, so the first thing that I want to tell you to do is get a journal. Okay, so make sure it's kind of like handheld. You know, it doesn't have to be something crazy, but don't let it be cheap either. You know, I mean, this is like some pleather or whatever. I even wrote in here. I'm not going to show you because it has my phone number. Okay, I'll go like this. But basically, I show, hey, if you find this journal, please return it back because it's important. It's very important to me. If I lost this, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I just literally start from another page one. But you know, this shows a lot in here. So definitely get a journal. That is the number one thing. Second thing you're going to be doing, you need to weigh yourself every morning after you use the bathroom. Yes, I'm talking about pooping and taking a leak, all right? So you're gonna wanna write this in your journal every day. And moving on, that's a real simple one. It's before you intake anything, okay? It's after your body's done doing what it does at night. The third thing is in your first week, okay? You wanna be measuring or at least guessing to the best of your ability every single thing that you put inside of your mouth. If you go out to Pizza Hut and you slam a pizza like I could easily do, I want you to know what that pizza was, and because you're gonna eventually calculate it at the end of the week, all right? If you go get a burrito, an al pastor burrito, I used to get this thing called a super burrito, had like lettuce, avocado, all the fixing, sour cream, al pastor, I mean, just absolutely delicious. You're gonna wanna try your best to figure out what was in that thing, okay? So even if you're eating like junk, fine, do it. Eat like junk your first week. Eat like nothing changed, okay? But you are going to monitor everything, all right? Why are we doing that? The reason that you are now beginning to take pen to paper for things that you are already doing is because you need to understand why people like myself, people like you see around you, why you yourself, family members, why do you have hundreds of thousands of calories sitting on your body right now? And you're gonna put a story to the reality, which is, oh my goodness, the reason I am is because every day I eat 500 or even 1,000 more calories than I should be, or whatever. You'll find an average to it, and it's gonna blow your freaking mind. And there's no question that is gonna explain why you are where you are. Why is that important for you to see it and actually live that and eat it and write it down? Because soon you'll be changing things, but you're not going to do a dang thing different in the first week other than write everything down and then calculate it to the best of your ability. Some people throw it in like app calculators and like, you know, they'll track things through like different apps and stuff, or like they have like these picture apps. I'm not really sure how to do that because I don't do it, but I just type everything into the chat bot. I tell the chat bot exactly, now to this point it's very specific, but sometimes it can be general, and it can give you like, let's say you have 2 tablespoons of sour cream, it'll give you 3 different options of sour cream, and then it'll just merge them all and give you an average. So you can get a great idea. So basically you need to have 0 activity. You are not going to be doing things different than you normally do. We want to establish a baseline about what you are doing and why you're doing it. Well, not why you're doing it. We're not going to go that deep. But what I mean is, if you sit on your butt and you drive a vehicle and you eat fast food, well, you're going to learn real quick why you have 500,000 calories sitting on you. Also, basically, we're gonna not try to alter too many moving parts yet. We're just gonna get a baseline. So after the week, at the end, you're gonna see whether you have gained, maintained, or lost weight based on that number. We are then going to take that number and compare it to what's called a TDEE calculator number, which is gonna give you your maintenance calories. TDEE stands for total daily energy expenditure. So we're going to basically see how much at rest your body burns, and then how much you've been eating over that. And then really we should be able to find how much fat you're gaining. And then with the calculator, and we're going to put 0 activity. Okay. Now, if you're at work moving boxes all day or whatever you do, you know, so much movement, okay, we will factor that in, but later, after we have figured out what it is you're eating and all that. And when we calculate the TDEE and find out this number from a calculator, we're going to put that you have no activity, okay? This is gonna help build a better baseline for loss in the future, okay? Now, basically, we're gonna find out your weight from that. And then the best way to moving forward, the more accurate you get with some of these metrics that you feed some of these things, like for example, if you use a Navy calculator. So, okay, you've gone already, you bought your journal. What you're now gonna do is go to Walmart or Amazon, and literally, I don't have it in front of me, but it's in my bathroom. You're gonna get a measuring tape, but the measuring tape that like tailors use, you know, that like the one that's flexible, that like folds into like you could wrap it. That thing you're gonna use for 2 measurements. One is gonna be below your Adam's apple on your neck, and then one will be at your waist, but it's really at your belly button. It's measuring your belly button waist, okay? These 2 measurements, coupled with your age, height, weight, and I think that's it. There's an online Navy calculator that will estimate your body fat percentage. I would throw on 1 or 2% in addition to what that tells you, and that is probably your true body fat. You always want to overestimate your body fat when you're making calculations based on diet. It is never better situation to underrepresent your body fat percentage when you're trying to make alterations in order to drop body fat. It is better to overshoot than it is to undershoot and have worse results. So that's not always true. We're not trying to kill you with like, okay, now that you know it, time to get on 1,000 calorie deficit. That is a sure way to fail. Do not do that. So we're going to talk about how we're going to lower it. But essentially, this next week, now you have eaten all your junk. You got it all written down. You know your body fat percentage. We now know your TDEE in that you punch in the calculator online. We now know what your maintenance level is based on real world data and how much food that you've eaten and you've gained or lost. So what's eventually going to happen now is it's time for you to get your butt into the kitchen. Because what's going to happen is you need to cook extremely simple meals, okay? You not only do at this point, and you is metaphorical you. I don't know you yet. I don't know, your situation, but this is also talking to myself if I'm restarting. So the thing about it is when a person is or you going into the kitchen for the first time, I mean, there's not a way that you can tell me how much protein is in X amount of chicken or beef, or all the calories and the fats and carbs in each food group. So you're going to pick something very simple, and you're going to pick something that you can eat for either every single meal, or you're going to pick something that you can do for like one meal for, one different type of meal for each. Okay. So let's say that you want a lunch. Okay. An example of that, you're going to have chicken and rice. Okay. Very simple, very measurable, very manageable. So you're going to start to eat real food that has like one ingredient. Okay. We're talking honey, yogurt. Okay. Pancakes is not necessarily that simple because it's a blend, but maple syrup with pancakes, beef, rice, pasta, onion, zucchini. We can add veggies later. They're not very calorically dense. We just want to get you some dense calories. Chicken, stuff like this. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, things that are, squash maybe, things that are going to get you fed. Okay. These are the primary things that are going to give you your fats, carbohydrates, and your protein. Okay. So basically from this, you're going to kind of want to, now the late bodybuilder Mike Mentzer is going to recommend a higher carbohydrate diet, basically at 50 to 60%, then do a protein level at 25 to 30% of that total. And this is all of your maintenance calories. And then 15 to 20% in fats. Okay. So you can deviate a little bit from this, but that's down the road, not at the beginning. You need to be a little bit strict, but simple. Now, you're going to eat your first week. Once you have decided some food you like, cottage cheese, throw that in there too. Whatever, some foods you like, you're going to eat this and you're going to remain consistent, and you're going to eat your maintenance level. Okay. Now, basically, now that we have simple meals and that, you're going to go do what is a high intensity workout one day a week. Now, what is the high intensity workout? So basically it's split. It's an A and B day. A one week, B the next, A the next week, B the next week. It's one 45-minute workout. You are doing 8 total sets till muscular failure. Okay. I will write the A and B days down below, so check that in the description, but I will slightly go over them here. Like day A, basically, you are going to be doing a close grip, palms up, pull down, and this is going to be a huge lat and bicep builder. You're going to be doing things like shoulder presses where you press up. And by the way, machines are typically better because you're going to be doing one set of each till you muscularly fail. And the reason why you don't want free weight is because when you are either trying to stabilize the weight, or you have to let the weight go and drop, there has to be some kind of fail safe, excuse me. So we're going to be using machines, right? So let's say we're going to do a side raise, okay, lateral raise. Also, you're going to be doing a incline press, so on a Smith machine. That way, when you're going up on the last one and you can't necessarily make it and you're going to failure, you lock it out, okay? And then other ones here, you're going to be doing a pec deck or a bent over row where you are doing your rear delt, so that's the back of your shoulder, okay? And then basically, I think I am not thinking of one here, and pardon me, but basically, you'll do like a seated row, okay? So something for your upper back, all right? And then other than that, you'll do like an ab machine, okay? So it could be 8, could be 9, takes 45 minutes, but all these are till muscular failure. Day B is basically going to be, so you can start out with, there's two, you're gonna do triceps and biceps. So upper body in the lower day, okay? So it'll be like a straight bar bicep curl, not an easy curl bar, okay? Easy curls do not work the bicep. They work partially the bicep and they work the brachialis. So the forearm of your, that's why it's called an easy curl, okay? It's literally easier because it's not, you're not working just your bicep. It's not an isolation movement. So that's when your wrist is supinated in. So basically, you're also going to be doing a tricep workout where you are doing a tricep push down. And there's plenty of workouts that you can do to isolate these different ones. You basically just need to pick one and stick with it. Also, you're going to be doing a leg press or a squat on a Smith machine. And then you'll be doing leg extensions as well, because we're going to train the legs twice on that leg day, at least the quads. Okay, so on the other B day, basically you'll be doing hamstring machine as well. You'll be doing adduction. Adduction is where you have where you take your legs, they're actually spread out in the machine, and then you bring them in, okay? As opposed to like, you know, the girls that you'll see at the gym are doing the one that's out. That's for like their, like a different glute muscle on the side. The abductors. And we're doing adduction, which is actually on the inside of the quad, like toward your groin. It's like basically your groin muscle. But basically after that, you're going to be doing some ab work as well. So you'll do abs every day that you're in the gym. You'll be doing calf raises. And then that's can either be on a Smith machine as well. And then, or if you have your gym as a calf machine, that's great. And then also glutes, okay? So getting the principles of the high intensity workout, that's its own thing, and I'll go into that at another point. But basically you will be embarking on the high intensity workout program. So basically you will be tracking all the reps and weights that you do for those workouts, okay? And basically from there, once you have that baseline, you're now eating at maintenance, you've now started the workouts, this is when your body goes, oh my goodness, something's going on, and it starts to change, okay? So your body now is going, wow, this is actually real food. You're going to eat your first maintenance level of real food and go, I don't know how I'm going to eat all this food. That is literally what you're going to say, because typically what you're eating is junk. And by junk, I mean it's high in fat. The carbs and proteins are typically not what people struggle with. It's only after they've reduced all the fat in the potato chips and the al pastor burrito and the In-N-Out burger that they go, oh my gosh, I have so much rice and chicken to eat. How am I ever going to do it? Well, you'll see in other ways that we can, that you'll be incorporating fats in your diet. But yeah, you will have to change the way you eat by eating real food now, okay? So, but here's where it gets easier. You will, in the coming weeks, every week, drop your calories by 200, okay? So eventually you'll be eating these simple meals, doing one workout per week, but you will now be in a calorie deficit. Okay, that's when the walking kicks in. So now you can go, okay, every other day I'm gonna walk for 30 minutes. Now it's a slow incremental thing, okay? This is not some program that is so hard to do that you are now working out 7 days a week and you don't know how you're going to wake up and you're like struggling to do it, okay? It is so simple, but it is monitored. So that is something that people will struggle with. They're like, but I want to get going now. You know, like little, like if you've ever seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, that little girl who's always crying and sticks the gum behind her ear, Veruca. And the dad's like, oh yes, my tootykins, my little bubby bum. You know, this is enough of the whining. You and I, where I was drinking every single night, we do not have the ability or the discipline to start this huge project. Okay, you're project lead of SEAL team, lose fat, gain muscle. Okay, you must crawl before you can walk and then run. All right, you are not going to be the guy who I see on the trail who has 100 pounds of fat and who's running uphill. That guy is going to be the fat guy he is today in 1 year from now. And just so you know, the picture that I have on this video, that is a 7 months transformation, and I wasted the first 3 months. Okay, like now I wouldn't say wasted. I was getting a lot of things dialed in and figured out. But as far as the fat loss, I lost no fat. Basically, I lost 10 pounds in 3 months, which is literally terrible. So because I was eating at a maintenance the whole time or a surplus in the last of those 3 months. Okay. But anyway, that was a little bit of some things that I would gear you toward to think about, to taking slow steps in the first like 3-4 weeks, to do something like what I do, where it's very slow, very, very monitored, but so steady, so sustainable. You quite literally have to, get your kneecaps shot to not be able to do this program. Okay. You quite literally have to have your freaking arm chopped off to not be able to do this thing. So I'm telling you, it's super sustainable. 1 day a week in the gym, 45 minutes, and then basically knowing what you put in your mouth and walking. It's basically ridiculous how simple it is, but the implementation and the knowledge behind, okay, why am I doing that? It's gradual. It takes about 3 months before you're like, okay, I get it. I know exactly what I need to do and how to tweak it. Okay. So hopefully this was something that will help you. Just for me personally, I will, my goals now next are to be 9% body fat. I heard another guy in this kind of space say, if you don't see veins on your six pack, bulk shouldn't even be in your vocabulary. I just thought that was like the funniest quote. So that is definitely what I'm aiming for, veins on my six pack, and then I will be at a maintenance level for probably a month, and then I'll tweak maybe 100 up. 100 calories up. That's how little my tweaks are at this point, because I am so locked in on what exactly is happening with my body, and you can be at that position too. I am 7 months in, all right? So the next year is going to be freaking insane, okay? Mark my words, all right? Hope that helped you guys. Let me know what you think.